A dark motorcycle speeds through the streets of Chicago in the new trailer for Power Book 4 for Season 3. The helmet hides the rider's face. But fans can't stop asking the same question. Is this Tariq from Power Book 2, Ghost, or is it Kane? The moment lasts only a few seconds, yet it has already sparked huge debate across the Power universe. The shot feels intentional, like the creators want us to look closer, to argue, and to guess. And that's exactly what we're going to do: break down everything we know about this scene and figure out who's most likely riding that bike. To understand why this mystery matters so much, we need to step back and look at where the story left off. Power Book 4 Force follows Tommy Egan as he builds his empire in Chicago after leaving New York. At the end of Season 2, Tommy was caught between loyalty, betrayal, and an ever-growing list of enemies. The streets were tense, the alliances unstable, and the future uncertain. Into that chaos comes this new trailer, teasing a masked figure who could change everything. The reason fans jump to Tariq and Kane is simple. Both characters carry history, both have motives, and both could shake up Tommy's world in very different ways. Tariq, Ghost's son, has been on his own path in Power Book 2. Ghost, he's always been careful, strategic, and smart, but he also knows when to take risks. His storyline has been about survival and control, stepping into a role he once hated but now understands. If Tariq is the one on the motorcycle, it suggests he's ready to cross into Chicago, maybe to connect with Tommy, or maybe to expand his own game. The Power universe loves surprises, and a crossover would send shockwaves through the fanbase. On the other side, Kane Tejada is a completely different kind of energy. Where Tariq is calculated, Kane is reckless, violent, and bold. He thrives in chaos, and he doesn't hide who he is. In Power Book 2, Kane has been a constant source of tension, driven by loyalty to his family but also by his hunger for power. A motorcycle entrance suits his style. It's flashy, dangerous, and loud. If it's Kane in that trailer, then Tommy may find himself face-to-face with someone who acts first and thinks later, which could set the stage for explosive conflict. The trailer gives us no direct answers, but the reason people are stuck on this shot is because it feels loaded with meaning. The Power series has always dropped small visual hints to set up bigger storylines. A helmet that hides the face is not random, it's a deliberate choice by the creators. And when that happens, fans know to pay attention. It might not even be Tariq or Kane. It could be someone completely new. But the fact that the fanbase instantly connected the scene to those two characters shows how deeply their stories are tied into the larger Power world. This is what makes the mystery so effective. It's not just about who's riding the motorcycle. It's about what that person represents. If it's Tariq, it's a symbol of strategy, of quiet moves being made behind the scenes. If it's Kane, it's about chaos, force, and brute power entering Tommy's city. Either way, the figure on that bike is a signal. Change is coming to Chicago, and the balance of power is about to shift again. The moment in the trailer is quick, but in Power, nothing is ever just a random shot. The motorcycle slices through the Chicago streets like a shadow, and the way the scene is framed makes it feel more important than a simple chase or action clip. Let's slow it down and pull apart every detail, because when you look closely, the clues start to reveal themselves. The first thing that stands out is the helmet. It's black, sleek, and completely covers the rider's face. That might not sound unusual. Plenty of bikers wear full helmets, but in the world of Power, showing or hiding a face is a statement. Whenever a director chooses to cover someone's identity, it's a promise that the reveal later will matter. The helmet becomes a mask, not just protection. It's almost like the rider is daring us to guess who they are before the story confirms it. Then there's the jacket. It's dark, heavy, with a simple cut, nothing too flashy, nothing that screams luxury. But when you freeze frame, the fit and shape are telling. The build looks slim but athletic, which could lean more toward Tariq, who's smaller than Kane, but at the same time, the way the rider handles the bike has a roughness to it, almost reckless, which feels like Kane's style. Tariq is more methodical, more careful, And even in how he moves, he tends to be precise. Kane, on the other hand, doesn't care about subtlety. He moves with speed and aggression. And that energy almost spills out of the frame when you watch the motorcycle weave through traffic. Another important detail is the choice of setting. The scene takes place at night, with neon lights bouncing off the wet pavement. Chicago becomes its own character here, and that's not by accident. Whenever the showrunners want to introduce a big player, they often use the city as a dramatic backdrop. Think about how Tommy's story has always been tied to New York, and now Chicago. The streets mirror the characters themselves. In this scene, the city feels alive but dangerous, suggesting that whoever is on that motorcycle isn't just passing through. They belong here, or they're about to stake their claim. Now, look closely at the way the motorcycle is filmed. The camera angles are fast, almost dizzying, but the edits focus on the idea of pursuit. We don't see where the rider is going, only that they're moving with purpose. This isn't someone riding for fun, this is someone on a mission. That single detail is what makes fans lean toward Tariq or Kane, because both characters have clear motives that could bring them into Tommy's world. Tariq might be chasing an opportunity, while Kane could be chasing blood. The bike itself deserves attention too. It's not a flashy, customized machine like you might expect from Kane, who likes to make statements. Instead, it's sleek, efficient, and fast, closer to something Tariq would use if he wanted to move quietly through the city. That subtlety could be a sign, but it could also be a misdirect. The Power franchise has built its reputation on playing with our expectations, giving us one piece of information and twisting it later. It's possible they chose a bike that feels more Tariq just to throw fans off. Well, the real answer is Kane. Let's also think about the timing of this shot in the trailer. It's not in the background, and it's not filler. It's placed in a way that makes it a highlight. Trailers are carefully edited to build hype, and every second matters. Showing the rider without revealing their identity tells us this is a mystery this season we'll explore. It's bait for fans, a puzzle planted in plain sight. The decision to hold back the reveal suggests that the rider is someone we know, not a random new character. If it were just a new player, the creators wouldn't need to hide the face at all. They'd show them proudly to introduce them. Hiding means recognition, and recognition means surprise. One last thing to notice is how the scene feels emotionally. There's tension, a low buzz of danger. You don't even need dialogue to sense that this rider is stepping into enemy territory. Whoever it is, they're not cruising, they're entering the storm. And that emotional weight is what makes fans so excited. It's not just about guessing who the rider is, it's about what their arrival means. If it's Tariq, it means a quiet but powerful crossover that links Ghost's legacy with Tommy's world again. If it's Kane, it means chaos, fire, and violence crashing into Chicago. Both options are explosive, and that's why the internet can't stop replaying the clip. By pulling the scene apart, we can see how carefully the trailer was built. Every choice, the helmet, the jacket, the bike, the setting, the camera angles was meant to spark debate. It's more than just a shot of someone on a motorcycle. It's a question written in motion, a puzzle dropped into the middle of Chicago's night. And until the season airs, that puzzle will keep fans guessing, arguing, and building theories about what's coming next. When we ask, who's on the motorcycle? The answer depends on which character makes the most sense in the story at this point in the Power universe. To break this down, we need to look at what Tariq and Kane represent, not just as individuals, but as forces that could shift Tommy's world in completely opposite directions. Both carry shadows from their past, both are products of Ghost's legacy, and both have reasons to make bold moves. But only one can be that rider, or maybe neither, which makes the debate even sharper. The case for Tariq St. Patrick has always been defined by intelligence, calculation, and survival. From the very beginning, his arc has been about stepping out from under his father's shadow and building his own name in a dangerous world. Tariq is not reckless. He's strategic. Every decision he makes is weighed like a chess move, always 3 steps ahead, even when it seems like he's cornered. If Tariq is the one on the motorcycle, it fits that logic. He would wear a helmet, cover his face, and move in silence through Chicago's streets. Think about why Tariq would even be in Chicago. The most obvious reason is Tommy. Their history is deep, painful, and unresolved. Tariq killed Ghost, and Tommy has never forgotten that betrayal. But beyond revenge, there's opportunity. Tariq's ambitions in New York have reached a point where expansion might be necessary, and Chicago, with Tommy holding power, could be the next frontier. A meeting between Tariq and Tommy, whether hostile or strategic, wouldn't just shake up the story. It would electrify the entire fan base. Tariq's presence would also signal a different type of conflict. He doesn't bring chaos like Kane does. He brings tension, suspense, and power struggles built on intellect. Tariq's arrival would mean subtle alliances, backroom deals, and quiet threats whispered in the dark. He's the type of character who could ride through Chicago unnoticed until it's too late, and suddenly he's sitting across from Tommy with an offer or a warning. The bike being sleek and not flashy fits his profile perfectly. And let's not forget Tariq's connection to Ghost. Every move he makes is tied to proving he's smarter, stronger, and more capable than his father. Riding into Tommy's territory could be Tariq's way of reclaiming a piece of Ghost's legacy, showing that he belongs not just in New York's game, but in the power universe as a whole. The motorcycle becomes more than a vehicle, it becomes a symbol of him stepping into another chapter. Quiet but unstoppable. The case for Canino. Shift the lens to Kane Tejada, and the energy changes immediately. Kane is fire where Tariq is ice. He's chaos where Tariq is control. He doesn't move in silence. He crashes through walls and forces everyone to notice. If Tariq's power is brains, Kane's power is brute force, and sometimes brute force is exactly what the story needs. Imagine Kane riding that motorcycle into Chicago. The helmet isn't about hiding, it's about intimidation, about building suspense until he takes it off and smirks in Tommy's face. Kane thrives on making statements. He doesn't just want to win. He wants to dominate, to humiliate, to make sure everyone knows he's in the room. A motorcycle chase, reckless and wild, fits him like a glove. Even the body language of the rider in the trailer, leaning aggressively, cutting through the streets, feels like Kane's raw energy spilling into the frame. Kane's motives are also different from Tariq's. He doesn't need careful alliances to justify his presence. Kane moves for family, for pride, and for power. He might come to Chicago looking for a new lane, or maybe he's sent by Monet or the Tejada family to deal with unfinished business. Unlike Tariq, Kane doesn't need a long explanation. He shows up, and suddenly the entire city is on edge. His presence alone creates conflict. If Kane is the rider, then Season 3 becomes louder, bloodier, and more explosive. His chemistry with Tommy would be fascinating. Both are unpredictable, both are violent, but where Tommy is disciplined and loyal, Kane is unpredictable and selfish. Watching those two clash or even work together temporarily would create the kind of chaotic energy that power thrives on. It would be fireworks every time they shared the screen. The balance between the two, so which case makes more sense? Tariq offers suspense, strategy, and long-term storytelling possibilities. Kane offers chaos, conflict, and immediate fireworks. Both fit the moment in the trailer, and that's why the mystery works so well. The helmet, the jacket, the bike, they can all be read as clues pointing in either direction. Tariq's slim build matches the rider, but the reckless speed matches Kane's style. The sleek bike feels like Tariq, but the aggressive angles scream Kane. Every piece of evidence can be twisted to support either theory. And that's exactly what the creators want. In the end, the rider represents a question of tone. If the show wants to bring in quiet tension, it's Tariq. If it wants to bring in chaos, it's Kane. Both paths are dangerous, both are exciting, and both would change Tommy's story forever. The only certainty is this: whoever is on that motorcycle, their arrival in Chicago is not random. It's a storm rolling into the city, and Tommy Egan is about to face it head-on, The beauty of the Power universe is that it doesn't just live on screen, it lives in the minds of fans who analyze every frame, every piece of dialogue, every silence. When the motorcycle shot appeared in the Power Book 4 Season 3 trailer, social media exploded. Reddit threads filled with theories. TikTok edits compared the writer's frame to old clips of Tariq and Kane. Twitter debates spiraled into thousands of comments. Everyone had an opinion, and each theory carried its own kind of logic. Whether grounded in evidence or driven by pure passion, one of the strongest fan theories points to Tariq. Supporters of this idea argue that the secrecy of the shot screams Tariq energy. They say the franchise has been building toward a moment where Tariq's story overlaps with Tommy's again. And what better way than a surprise entrance in Chicago? Fans note how the motorcycle isn't flashy, and how the rider's movements look more careful than wild, more tactical than reckless. To them, the helmet isn't just a disguise, it's a signal that someone known for being cautious and clever is under it. Tariq fits that mold perfectly, but Kane's fans fire back with just as much evidence. They argue that the aggressive style of riding is all Kane, no question. The sharp turns, the speed, the way the bike almost seems out of control, that's not Tariq. That's a Tejada move. Some fans also point out that Kane is the kind of character who would make a dramatic entrance. He loves to announce himself with fire and chaos, and bursting into Chicago on a motorcycle feels like the type of power play Kane would choose. On TikTok, side-by-side comparisons of Kane's build with the riders have convinced many that it's him, not Tariq. Then there's the third camp, the misdirection theorists. These fans believe the showrunners are playing with us. They argue that if the rider were really Tariq or Kane, the trailer wouldn't have hidden it so carefully. Instead, they believe it could be a brand new character, someone introduced to shake up Tommy's world. Maybe it's a fresh rival, or a mysterious ally, or even someone from Tommy's past we thought was gone. This theory thrives because Power has pulled tricks like this before. They planted scenes that look one way in trailers, only to twist them completely when the season airs. According to these fans, the motorcycle scene is something designed to stir debate. While the real surprise waits in the first episodes, another interesting layer comes from the idea of Easter eggs. Fans have gone back to earlier seasons of Ghost and Force, trying to find visual clues. Some point to the fact that Tariq has been shown around motorcycles in past episodes, even if briefly, suggesting a setup. Others argue Kane's swagger and love for making bold statements line up too perfectly for the show not to use it. The result is a game of digital detective work, where freeze frames and screenshots are studied like evidence in a crime scene. The speculation isn't just about who the rider is, it's about what their arrival means. Fans pushing for Tariq imagine a world where he and Tommy form an uneasy alliance, building on their complicated history. Others dream of a direct confrontation, with old wounds reopened and Ghost's shadow hanging over both men. On the Kane side, fans picture explosive confrontations, street wars, and raw chaos flooding Chicago the second Kane steps off that bike. And for those who believe in a new character, the theory is that this mystery rider will act as a wild card. Someone unpredictable who changes the entire balance of Power. It's also worth noting how the creators of Power feed into this speculation. They know the fan base thrives on mystery, and they intentionally plant seeds to keep people talking. The decision to include this motorcycle scene in the trailer is proof of that. It's not just about building hype, it's about creating community buzz, making sure fans argue, debate, and stay hooked until the premiere. By refusing to show the rider's face, the creators hand control of the conversation to the audience, and the audience has run wild with it. What makes these theories so exciting is that all of them feel possible. Power has always blurred the line between prediction and surprise. Just when fans think they've cracked the code, the show swerves in another direction. That's why the motorcycle moment works so well. It's a riddle without a clear answer, and every guess says more about how fans view the characters than it does about the actual scene. Tariq represents careful strategy, Kane represents wild energy, and a new character represents unpredictability. Each possibility is a different path, but each path leads to the same place, chaos in Chicago, and Tommy standing at the center of it. In the end, speculation is part of the fun. Theories keep the Power universe alive between seasons, turning a single shot in a trailer into weeks of discussion. And whether the rider turns out to be Tariq, Kane, or someone we haven't even met yet, the journey of guessing is what keeps the fanbase united and engaged. The motorcycle isn't just a clue, it's a conversation starter, a spark that lights up the imagination of millions of fans.